So this is a sewing machine, obviously. This one looks very similar to the one that my grandma has in her basement. And the reason for that is my grandfather was a tailor. And I grew up in his studio when I was very young. So I learned about tailoring. I learned about body augmentation. I learned about the structure of actually creating a craft, how skill is necessary. And I was very intrigued by it. But at the same time, I was a kid. So it's second nature. It was like totally normal. And I went up to my mom and I said, this is really cool. And she gave me a Vogue magazine. And she said, well, maybe you want to do something that's a little bit more stylish. And so I ended up with the fashion photography of a Vogue magazine and other publications, glossy magazines that I really, really, really liked. And sooner or later, and I know this is dating me now, but we got a Commodore 64. The first one was in '82. That's really dating me now. And my brother and I, we played video games. Of course, it was a game console. But it was also the first time I was exposed to programming. Very simple, basic programming. And again, I was a teenager or even younger than that. And so it was very, very easy. Zeros and ones, technology, not a problem. You know, growing up in a studio where you have a tailor, you got fashion, you got a computer. And then I realized about 20 years later, this is what I'm doing. I'm basically combining the two. And by doing that, I also realized that I wanted to do projects. And creating an actual terminology for this was important because I wasn't able to tell somebody what I'm doing. I needed to explain it all the time. So I said, let me call it fashion-enabled technology because it's cool, it's stylish, it's something that I really wanted to do, but it's technology. It involves not only digital technology, any type of technology there is. Today we got nanotechnology, biotechnology, but then also textile technology and so forth. So about 10 years ago or so, I started a course at Parsons in a research area which was called, or which I called at the time, fashion-enabled technology. And it really tries to intersect between all these different areas. But then also we are creating an actual product. We're creating something. So what is that thing that we're creating? How do we want to call that? Coming from computer science, you got wearable technology, wearable computing, which is really wearing a computer on the body. In terms of wearables, in fashion, it's a garment. It's something you wear. So I wanted to combine the two again, and because I already was talking about fashion-enabled technology, I was like, let me call this fashion-enabled wearables. And again, it's something that I'm very interested in, creating something for the body. And so basically the body to me is, we have a body area network, those of you who are in digital technology, but then also we have the ability through wireless communication right now to actually transfer data from one person to the other. So we not only have body area networks, we have networks that we can actually use to communicate. Then we have the body and the space relationship. Just by myself, I have a relationship with this space, but at the same time, we all have a relationship with the space as well. So to me, it's very interesting. Anything that we can actually put in our body and our second skin in our body, augment our body and so forth, but how does that communicate to the actual space and to the people around us, or does it actually do something for myself? And to explain that, it's a project that we did in already 2003. It's called Slopestyle. I'm a vivid snowboarder, and as a snowboarder, we have 3 different spaces we're actually riding in. One is the park, one is the slope, and one is the backcountry. So it's 3 different spaces, 3 different contexts of use, 3 different functionalities. And in the park, we do our tricks, we want to show them off, we want to brag about them, and so we want to take pictures or a video and then have them and show them in the bar. That's really what we do. Second thing is we're on the slope. On the slopes, if you're going to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, or somewhere else where you don't know your terrain, you get lost. You want to see where your friends are, and you actually are able to actually communicate with your friends. Today, GPS, no problem. But at the same time, we want to have a slope map. Today, not a problem. We got the apps for the iPhone. So again, this was in 2003. The third thing that you saw was the vital signs in the backcountry. If you go in the backcountry, you can't go by yourself, of course, because you always need to have a second person. However, if something happens to you, you want the rescue team to know exactly what happened to you to actually bring the medical devices or the medical expertise right to you when something is happening. And you can use this, of course, for many other things, not just snowboarding. You can also do this for something that is health-related and for actually workwear and rescue teams that are really doing substantial work in the mountains. So we created prototypes. The prototypes were exhibited at eCulture Fair in Amsterdam, at the International Symposium of Wearable Computing, and some other places throughout the world. And I really wanted to create something substantial to be able to use flexible displays. And there was a lot of talk about the e-paper, e-ink at that time came out. People were talking about higher resolution, less energy use, yada, yada, yada. That was in 2003, and I was like, yes, perfect. We'll do something like that. Well, a few years later, nothing really had happened in this area. I mean, yes, there were, of course, advances, but nothing really that we were able to use. And so I decided that I still want to use and create dynamic display on the surface of a garment, something that I don't have to worry about energy. I don't have to worry about having it wash. I wanted to give it to a lot of people to let me know what they feel if something dynamically changes on the surface of the garment. And then we did something, technology, very simple, but it seems to be very effective. We created sun. Photochromic T-shirts that are reacting to the sun create stories. We're working right now with designers and artists to actually enable them to create stories through the use of this type of ink and through the ability to create T-shirts that actually convey a story. They're still dynamic. We don't have to worry about energy because if the sun is up, it's going to get purple. The sun is down, the switch is off. Easy as that. So I always had to explain what I'm doing. And it's very difficult to always, show somebody a slide of the sewing machine and then yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay, let me write a book. So I can give this book to the clients that, don't really know why they should hire us, or the students. I've already seen that idea, just do a little bit more research, or investors. Yes, this could be profitable. Please invest in us. Curators to show that there are projects out there that are worthwhile to be actually curated for a museum. And of course, fellow researchers to really give them a reference guide. So I wrote my first book a couple of years ago, Fashionable Technology, the Intersection of Yada, Yada, Yada. Sorry, I'm getting really tired of actually spelling it out. I think it's Fashionable Technology, that's it. Wrote this book. It's all over the world. I think a lot of people have read it. I see a few people in the room that I know have read it, or at least have it in their shelf. And then I decided to do something different. Very much on the same topic, but the first book was an encyclopedia of what is out there. The second book that I just published, it just launched last week in New York, is a book that's supposed to inspire. Really different types of projects, different types of works, different types of chapters. So I have chapters in there, and I have projects in there that are from the walks of body sculpture, don't really have anything to do with digital technology per se or technology, but really are about the actual structure. And in this case, Amy Thompson, you have the possibility of seeing works that have a hard shell and a soft shell on how to actually combine the things. Christoph Coppens, a piece that I think is very interesting to be looked at because of the way he's using attachments. Una Burke, her work, very interesting. You learn about the craft of actually creating and tanning leather and how to actually put it together. Another chapter is called The Garment is Amplify Fantasy, because I think that's very emotional, that's very important to us. there are many, many opportunities to actually create amplifiers, and one is Project LED eyelashes that has been at ARSA a couple of years ago. And this is really about using technology to actually become a fetish. So really working with that. And then you have other designers that are actually working and really creating explorations. Scientific couture, where we really work with different types of conductive inks, or whether we work with fungi to create textiles, whether we work with different types of liquids to actually figure out how we can actually make transformations on the body. Biocouture, again, working with biology and biotechnology, again, to create a sustainable textile, and to really fuse the opportunities that we have in terms of science, fashion, technology, and so forth. Another one is the epidermis metaphor. Those of you who know Casey Reeves processing, he's basically the one that is doing some dynamic imagery, and then his wife Kate is actually putting them onto their digital printing on their garments. Cute Circuit, LED, light-up dress that has been exhibited in Chicago. And so again, here is the dynamic display, the dynamic explorations on the body. Material exploration, again, a chapter where we really deal with materials that might not be something that we're talking about when we deal with textiles. Glue, for example, here, the glue jeans. That is by Droch Design. We got Anouk right here. She has been working on the second generation of intimacy, a project that deals with architecture as a material. And then, of course, sustainability, very important to me. And in this case, it's Elena Kuchera. She is working with a yarn that actually reflects, and she's using Scottish women to actually create those products. Or in the last case, we have woven interface here, where it's really the zeros and the ones of technology are not really so different to the zeros and the ones of an actual loom. So there is a lot of relationship, and most important, the context. So this is a heated wetsuit by Rip Curl. If you want to go surfing out in cold weather, this is, again, a context that is very important, and I hope I wasn't boring you. Thank you.